Welcome back to the Technical Talk Podcast. I'm your host, HD, where we talk about tech, careers, and much, much more. Today is episode 120, and we have an amazing guest for you today. We have the Erkerds. Now, you may be familiar with one of the Erkerds. She is Chenae Erkerd, aka the recruiter cousin, and she's already been on the platform. But today we have an even special guest. We have her husband, Terrence Erkerd, joining us today. We'll unravel the real-life challenges faced by IT professionals and gain insight into how the tech literacy, or lack thereof, can cause cybersecurity mishaps and the frustrations that bubble up when users resist troubleshooting advice. Terrence and Chenae will share their personal journey through tech, from engaging with Facebook reconnections to rethinking the value of productivity and remote work. We'll also be touching on some career advice, like why you should always stay interviewing, how to build your hands-on skills, and the nuances that came with Chenae when she worked in healthcare recruitment. Stay tuned as we explore the challenges of job searching, ghosting by employers, the unpredictability of job stability, and the vital role of integrity in the hiring process. Plus, a peek into the Mixers Cloud networking event, the pros and cons of recruiters, and a sprinkle of supernatural chit-chat about sleep paralysis and horror movies. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Perfect. All right. I want to make sure I don't mess y'all name up. The last name, Erkerd.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, we got the Erkerds here.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I want to start off first with asking y'all, I guess, did Mixer Cloud bring y'all down here?
Yes.
Okay. So.
Well, we also too, so I'm a little jealous because my husband had like this companion thing on his Delta account. So we got to fly with the companion thing. And I'm a little mad that I didn't have it on my account, but he had it on his.
Like y'all
he had
hookups.
he had to use it within a certain time. So I was like, oh, we can go to Dallas, we can go to Mixer Cloud so we don't lose it.
Okay. As a married couple there, how was your experience there? Oh, funny thing, my friend Kenneth said he got to meet y'all last night. He was like, Kenneth was like, man, Chenae got a whole entourage around her. She got security.
She did.
No, it was cool. I don't know, how was your experience?
I mean, it was different for me because I'm not used to being that type of crowd like that. So it was fun. I actually enjoyed myself. I met some cool people there.
You got some drink?
I got some drink for free. I took her a ticket because she ain't gonna drink.
Yeah, I don't.
But I had a good time though. Yeah, watching her, also work and mingle with other people too. It's always a pleasure just seeing her element. So yeah.
But you talk to people too, wasn't you?
I did. A little drink helped out. Some Erkerds juice.
And that reminded me of
Erkerds juice.
what song is that Drake was doing? What's that song, Passion Fruit? He said, a couple of drinks start going, I'm gonna sound much better.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you from my experience, I went to Mixer Cloud. I think it's cool. I don't think they have set it up in a way for job searchers to really be successful, because you don't know who's a recruiter, who's not.
Mm-hmm.
I've advocated, hey, get a separate section for some recruiters, or maybe you set up something internally where they can kind of pre-screen with some people already, so it have an established amount of people they may talk to. So there's a lot of people are there to try to get jobs.
Yeah.
Then the other part of why, like, I would have only came back to see y'all, but I was working. But it seemed like people be there trying to find them like a husband or a wife too.
I also heard that too. It's like a
Speed dating.
A speed dating, yeah. So it felt like a little bit, but it was just, it was different.
I mean, they had the different tables though.
Yeah.
Like they did have a careers table.
Oh,
So
okay.
They did have like a recruiting job seekers like section. And I did I didn't plan to stand there and give advice, but it just kind of happened.
Yes.
But I did kind of go over there, and we posted up there for a little while with Christy. Shout out to Christy Kennever. Get me hired, Christy.
Okay, I got y'all.
She was like, okay, I got you. But yeah, we posted up with, it was me, her, and one other recruiter. And we just kind of talked to people, and we networked ourselves, and, it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I'm glad it's a little bit better. I know when I went, the hotel was nice, but it was hot.
Oh, it was hot.
It was hot,
It was
sweating.
hot, yeah.
The drinks wasn't free.
More people start coming in. Yeah.
It was a build up that people had to pay to leave from the parking, and I already had to go like back up north. So, but I mean, overall, it was cool. I met some people that I think has anybody came on the show yet? Yeah, one person that met there in person that came on the show, because that's what I went for, find talent or interesting people that could come on the show. So
Yeah.
that's good. But Let me intro the pod real quick. Welcome back to the Textual Talk Podcast, where I'm your host, HD, the authority on everything tech-related, career advice, you name it, we got it. This is episode 120, and this is going to be the first installment of our Tech Couple series. And we got the Erkerds with us today, and they came out to rock with us all the way from, I always get it messed up, North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's right.
All the way from North Carolina, they came to rock with us out in Dallas, and I just hope y'all in tune for a good show. But if you're on YouTube right now, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, like, hit all for notifications. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a review, follow the podcast, listen long enough so it'll make a download. And for all y'all that's watching the premiere right now, hit the like button and subscribe. But I'm glad that you agreed to this. And Chenae was like, this is going to be the first time my husband actually do something with me. Like, how did you decide to do this? But it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I like to just incorporate like real life that goes on when it comes to our careers. And, we talk about work-life balance and how it is beneficial to have two people that make above average income in a household to where you can do certain things. Yeah. I remember it was like a while back. I think y'all went on a nice vacation, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If it's one person and they not making above average income, y'all vacation might be to Motel 6.
Yeah. But we going to make it best of it. That Motel 6 going to be 5-star to us, but we going to have fun regardless.
Yeah. It could be. I'm all for a good staycation as well, though.
Yeah,
so,
we do those too.
We come into the city and stay at hotels and stuff like that.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we what was that? I think we did a staycation for my girl's birthday in January. In Frisco area, that's north of here, they have a Hyatt Regency that's built into the Stonebriar Hotel. Is really nice and pretty cool. You really don't have to leave the hotel if you don't want to.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
But you guys know the recruiter cousin already. She's been on before and she's back. But now we want to, I'm not going to say today that I want to say. We're going to introduce her husband, Black IT, Mr. Terrence Erkerd. And can you just introduce yourself for the listeners?
Man, so I'm Terrence Erkerd. I've been in tech for like 15 years now. So I am an IT specialist level 3 technician. So I was born in Connecticut, but I was raised in North Carolina. I met this awesome lady right beside me. She has been a beacon in my life. So I think a lot of my success to her because she pushed me forward, go back to school, move into my career further. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they always say behind every great man, it's a great woman.
It's a greater woman, actually.
Okay. But they never say behind a woman is a great man. They don't ever say that.
There is though. Yeah. There has to be both.
Balance.
Like honestly, because recruiter cousin, Chenae, whatever you want to call me, I do a lot. Like a lot. Yeah. And I do a lot outside of work. I do a lot within compliance. I do a lot outside of work. I do a lot after work, just after 5 o'clock. And that goes into my personal time. And so he's normally downstairs cooking dinner, or if I'm running a little behind, he'll feed our dogs for me because that's normally my job. And he doesn't complain about it. And it really... It's genuinely awesome to have a spouse who understands your hustle and understands your branding and your building and your calling.
Yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment because like we were talking about earlier, people think I got a team, but it's really a team with me. But while I'm doing this, or while I'm like when we record a remote, the girls are in there with their mom, or if I'm going to record on Sunday, like I was talking about, the girls at the mom, or they go out the whole day so I can record and do my content and everything. So you're right. It does take support because it's hard to do if you don't have any support. So I appreciate you for supporting Chenae and her efforts.
Oh, yeah, always.
And I want to talk to you a little bit, and then we'll get back on the subject of YouTube because I haven't had anybody on there in a while and I would say, judging from when I visited your LinkedIn and I looked at your profile, that you pretty much have made a career out of pretty much Helpdesk desktop support.
Yes.
And there's only a handful of people that do that. And because I'm seasoned, or you could say I'm a tech veteran, you 15, I'm going on 11. I oftentimes tell people a lot of the stuff that they hear about, like, we know it's like Helpdesk, and then we know it's like Helpdesk where you actually getting your hands dirty and learning stuff.
Yeah.
I always tell people it's different Helpdesk. I think one of them
Yes, it is.
2 knocks on Helpdesk is it don't pay and I'm not really doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I know the people that do real Helpdesk stuff, and I've seen some real Helpdesk pay when you're doing a job that's actually paying you for your skill set and your knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted you to talk a little bit about that because, so far on my platform, everybody's either doing like software, cybersecurity, cloud, project management, you name it. But Helpdesk isn't getting a lot of love. And there may be some people that just want to do Helpdesk, but maybe discouraged by it because of how people kind of often knock on the title. And I kind of wanted you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So there's pretty much, there are 2 different ones. So there's a service desk and there's a help desk. So help desk, those are people that's coming into tech that don't really have a technical background. So if you don't have no certifications, anything like that, that's where people will go into that area. Now, service desk provides a service. Like if you people that have skill sets like far as AD, anything like cloud related, they'll people in those areas right there will focus on that right there. So.
Yeah. I know for me, my first role was help desk was called service desk, but we did kind of both things, but mostly software related or, hey, my mailbox not syncing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see my shared drive. Can you find like where my shared drive is? So it's kind of like stuff like that. Like then it was government based. So they had so many different resolution teams. Yeah. Oh, this going to the printer team. Yeah. This going to the exchange team. This going to the messaging team. Yeah. So I definitely feel you on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, and I'm trying to remember back from Chenae and I's episode about you two, like we didn't briefly talk about y'all. But so did y'all meet like, were you in school when you met him or was it after school?
It was in between.
Yeah. Okay.
So so when I was academically dismissed from law school, after my first year, I had to take a year off and I had to get a job. So I worked 2 different jobs. So I worked at a company called Datros, and our client was Kodak. So the Kodak kiosks that you have in like Walgreens and CVS, and it was Sam's Club, and it was Target. Was it Target?
Yes, Target.
It was Target.
CVS.
It was CVS, Target, and Sam's. And so we were the people who, if the kiosk stopped working, you would call us, and we would talk you through how to fix the kiosk. Yeah. And then I also worked at Talbot's, which is the clothing store. So Terrence and I met at the call center. So he already worked there, and I had got a job. And he saw me, and he was mesmerized and stuff.
I sure was going to ask that because I thought about that first episode of Martin when they were trying to say like how they rolled up on each other. Yeah. So how you remember how y'all met? Like, is it what she say, or you rolled up on her? Like, what kind of game you hit her with?
So when I was at my desk, and she pulled up with her friend. So I was, was mind my business until she walked up, and I saw her, I was, checking her out a little bit, and her friend was communicating with some of my friends behind me. So she wasn't paying me no mind. She was on her phone the whole time. I was watching her, I was checking her out. Then as, time went by, I would see her around the job, and I would, walk by her cubicle, see if she was there that day. Or if I was lucky enough, she'd be taking on lunch around the same time. So I'd be outside walking. I might see her from a distance walking too. So
stalk me.
Strategic engagement is what I call it.
Stalk me.
It was just, it was coincidence. And she was just right there, So.
And I'm a basketball player too. So I used to have a ball in the trunk of my car. And on my breaks, I would go outside and I would dribble. Mm-hmm. And it would be, people thought I was weird because I would just go outside and dribble a basketball. But when you from up north, that's how you grow up. You grow up and if you don't have nothing to do, you just get the ball out the car and you just start dribbling. So I would dribble, and people would be like looking out the window, and some people would tell me, "We saw you dribbling the basketball," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just chilling."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did y'all ever do like any love and basketball type stuff? Y'all played each other before?
Well, like she was so I was trying to find my way to like talk to her more. So I found she was selling a book. So I was like, it's my opportunity now. So I found, we sat down, we talked for a little bit, and told me about her book and everything. So I, bought a book. Then the next day I told my friend I was going to ask her out. Then he said, bad news, man. She, I think he was dating somebody, right? She was dating somebody. I was like, oh man, lost my opportunity. I was like, come on. But it went from there. I was happy for her, but I really wanted to, take her out somewhere nice.
I'll expound upon that story. I was dating, and then I was engaged.
Oh yes.
And then I was and then I got back into law school. And so from there, I left, and I don't think I told you I was leaving. I think I just left.
You just left. I didn't know. Yeah.
And so I left, but him and I reconnected on Facebook like 2 years later. Mm-hmm. And so when we reconnected on Facebook, I was engaged at the time.
You was engaged.
And then I was unengaged. So it went from, oh, happy pictures, oh my gosh, to nothing.
Yeah.
And so what caught my attention was he was concerned. Yes. So it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't realize that she wasn't engaged anymore until a friend of mine told me that, hey, she's single. I said, what's going on? Like, why she's single? She should be married by now. So I pretty much reached out to her on Facebook to see how she was doing, because I was worried about her. And we chit chat online for a little bit, and she told me the full story, what happened. And I was told, be there for her. I wasn't trying to trying to rush up on them like that. Yeah. But I was, trying to let her know that I'm here for you, pretty much.
Here's the spiritual part of that. So that was in 2016. And so I got unengaged in 2015. In 2016, literally New Year's Day of 2016, the Lord said to me, and one of my spiritual gifts is hearing the audible voice of God. So the Lord said to me, Chenae, there's going to be at least one man every single week that is going to want to talk to you, take you out and all these things, and court you. And so he said, but I will tell you when to pay attention. And so I said, okay. And so literally I walked out of the church, and at least one person, as soon as God said, I walked out of the church, and somebody started hitting on me and flirting with me. Mm-hmm. And every week after that, from almost every single week from January 1 of 2016 to October of 2016, someone tried to approach me in some way. And so when Terrence reached out to me, literally immediately God said, pay attention. I was like, okay, here we are.
Yeah. Some guys are scared to talk to a female. They don't want to be put in that friend zone. I wasn't worried about that. I was want to let her know I'm here for her. I knew that she was going through something, and that she needs somebody to really truly be there for her. And I told her, hey, I'm here for you if you want to hang out a little bit. I was planting little seeds here and there. Yeah. But,
got to. Hey, fellas, that just mean, hey, listen, hey, what's for you, gonna be for you.
Yeah.
No matter what. I always hear the girls, like, they joke on Twitter and stuff like that, be like, hey sis, your man somewhere married to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Like, they say stuff like that all the time, but sometimes, or they be engaged
to somebody.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a good love story. So then, like, after that, that's kind of like everything like just took off.
Yeah, pretty much. So he reached out to me, sent me a DM in October 4th of 2016. And literally we have been talking every day since. And so he actually thought I was still in North Carolina. And at the time, because I was unengaged, I had to go home and get my life together. So I was in Jersey, and I was literally sitting in my aunt's den. And when he thought I was still in North Carolina, we were talking about movies, because we realized we both love movies and like that fantasy type thing. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go see, it was the Nat Turner movie. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go see Nat Turner. He was like, I'll go with you if you don't have nobody to go with. Seed. And so I was like, well, I'm going with my aunt. I'm in Jersey. And so that's when I told him I had moved back to Jersey. And so the foundation of our relationship was 100% communication. Yeah. We had to talk.
Yeah. I think that's good, though. I think that I've seen like a lot of different people, relationships and everything else. I think communication is at least top two and not two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then after communication is probably money.
Yeah.
I probably would say
that.
Yeah. So, and you brought up movies. I love movies. I like shows. Earlier, I was asking you about a movie. Last night, I was a little tired, so I fell asleep back on the second episode, but we were watching Shogun on FX.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but yeah.
Pretty good. Cinematography, pacing, everything is great. So I like to watch stuff like that. So that kind of like, it'll go up and down for me, because like I'm probably going to go from watching Shogun to probably watching BMF sometime tonight with her and keep up with like whatever they came up with like Lil Meech and them. But like for y'all, like I know you said y'all like the fantasy stuff. Like what's y'all, do y'all have like a favorite movie like that y'all watch over and over together?
No, because Terrence his mind is weird with movies. So like there'll be a time where he'll go, oh babe, we need to go see this movie. And I'll go, okay, and it's a hit. Like I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are times just very weird movies that he'll take me to, and I'll go, oh, okay, never again.
Yeah.
So it was this one time about this space. They were in space and then they crashed their ship and then they escaped. That's all I know about the movie.
Like
and
60,
I was just like,
40, something like that.
I was like, oh my gosh, I just wasted my whole life just like in this one movie. So if anything, our movies are I'm definitely for me a rom-com. I'm definitely a rom-com woman. And for him, it's very
horror movies,
thriller, thriller, space. Yeah. He absolutely adores space and
I love space movies.
Anything telescope related. Yes. He absolutely loves.
Gravity.
Yeah.
Interstellar, one of my favorite all-time space movies.
But I also love inspirational movies. So I am what my favorite type of movie to watch are based on true stories, because I need to see I am a person who needs to see the triumph, but I need to see the process because it helps me in my life when I'm going through something.
Yeah, I feel that. I think that's probably why I like anime.
I love anime. Oh yeah.
Look at her. She's like, oh Lord, they finna start talking about this. I mean, it's cool. I mean, everybody's getting into it. Like, you know, my lady, like, I think she said she started watching Naruto after Hiruzen died, but a little bit she was watching Attack on Titan like last year.
Oh, okay.
I was telling her, I mean, to me, it's still kind of overrated.
Yeah, I watched like maybe a couple episodes of it when it first came out, and
start off too slow and it's stupid. But if you keep watching, there's a payoff. I haven't finished it. Yet. But for me, I like everything. Like you said, thriller and horror. But see, she don't like none of that stuff. She's scared of it. Like I want to watch. I want to rewatch Insidious. Like I love Insidious.
Yes. In the Conjuring movie.
I haven't seen the Conjuring. See anything with that? I ain't gonna watch it at my house. I'll watch it at your house. I ain't watching none with that, but I watch Insidious though, because I mean I had some thoughts about astral projection, whether it may be real or not. Who knows? I think it is. Yeah. I think astral projection is real.
I don't know. Listen, it took me years to watch The Conjuring, and part of that is, again, I'm spiritual, so a lot of that stuff sits with me in not the best way possible. Well, for him, he can watch it and not stick.
I go to sleep.
It's
because I know. A lot of stuff. Like for example, I'm not scared of like it or nothing. I'm like, man, this stuff ain't real,
right?
Yeah. Freddy Krueger now.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger, Jason, Chucky. Like I can. When I was a kid, definitely hands down.
Yeah.
But the spiritually demon based.
Oh yeah, I don't really come from them. Like Insidious is kind of like that, but it's not. It's like more of like an interesting story about why the little boy won't wake up and you think he's in a coma, but he just can't get back to his body. And then around that time, Ms. Brown, I want to say around the time the first Insidious came out, it's about the time I started realizing kind of what sleep paralysis was. And I started figuring out how I was getting the sleep paralysis. And so once I figured that out, I don't really get it that much anymore because it scared me at first. Like when you first aware,
me once, and it scared the mess out of me.
It was happening for me like a string of days, and I found out I was sleeping a certain way, and my body wasn't fully resting, but everything was trying to move, so I couldn't get up, and I was getting scared. So I started going to sleep with Israel, a new breed on, thinking it's gonna help me. Man. And after that, though, once I figured it out, I was like, okay, it's good. It's happened a couple of times. Like when I used to work in the knock. I used to have to work on the weekend shift. So I had sleep paralysis a couple times there because I'm not supposed to be asleep. So I was telling my body, my mind say, don't fully go to sleep because if you got to wake up, you got to wake up.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened too. But other than that, I hadn't experienced it that much. But you two, married, well, at first, you were the only person that was in tech, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you got into tech about roughly 4, 5, 6 years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
Well, I mean,
2.5 years ago.
let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it. Recruiting. I just want to talk about recruiting.
Yeah. So April will be 5 years.
Okay, there we go. I want to say your career because I was like, technically you could be in the industry, but like technically, but your career's you've been doing like for 5 years. So I think this is a cool thing too, right? Once you have people who are like in tech or have technical positions, you start outside of those prestigious, I'm a doctor, a certain type of specialist doctor, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm an entertainer, or whatever. Then you just get regular people, but you realize, hey, they make substantially more than I have, and they may not have even finished school or something.
Yeah.
And so your mind starts to be open up. Like, were you that catalyst of like, baby, like, Stop worrying about all that. Here, do all this and get you a job that's going to pay you what you worth. Was you the person telling her that?
Yeah, I was pretty much telling her, no, don't focus on, at the time she had a contract job. So it was times where she wouldn't work for a week. It depends on the contract and everything, right? And when certain, like say when holidays come up, she want to buy gifts. I said, don't worry about that. Don't worry about me. I'm good. We are good. So we just focus on what we can do. So, I was just, giving her that comfort on that. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect us. We're good. I was, trying to make sure that she was good, make sure she was comfortable with everything going on. And, it was a little challenging at first, but, she got through it. She put her head back up and realized, okay, let me try doing Uber. Let me do Lyft instead. And she found a way around it.
Postmates,
yeah.
Which turned into Uber Eats. And
yeah.
I understand what job seekers feel. I know what that's like. Yeah. I know what it's like to not pay you what you're worth. I know what it feels like to have a degree and 2 degrees and you're doing total opposite. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine having a law degree and being a Lyft driver.
Yeah.
Like, there were many days where I was just like, why did I go to law school? Yeah. If I'm like, it was hard.
Yeah. And at that time, she was thinking to herself, she was like, I didn't have a degree. And I was in tech, making a decent amount of money than people that had a degree like she did. So it was, puzzling for trying to piece that together. And I said, I definitely get it. You would think once you got out of college, you would be somewhere further in your life than people that don't have a degree or have a law degree, especially. So yeah,
we definitely can talk about that. I've talked about it on many episodes and solo episodes of how what happens sometimes when you go to school or people know where you're from. If you don't automatically hit it right there are the people who are always the naysayers saying, you thought you was better than us going to school. Now you just like us. And what is the term called? I think it's called post-grad depression. You finish school and now ain't nothing landing. You found out, and I say this because I recently had a young man reach out to me on LinkedIn. He just graduated, I think either a bachelor's or something in cybersecurity, telling me, hey, I can't get an interview. I can't get a job. And in my mind, I'm like, college is not preparing them for the job search process.
That's true.
And that gave me also an idea. It's like, how can I make myself partner with colleges or whatever to help people, specifically like computer information system, computer science? Because I've already been through it and I know what that curriculum's not teaching you, and I know how to help you get to the next level, at least just get interviews. Yeah. But I thought about that. It's like, you'll go like a long, long time, but just not find nothing because you're not even realizing that you did learn a lot of stuff, but you don't even realize how to highlight the skills that you did get from school too. Yeah. I think that's a big one.
Yeah. I made an offer to a guy so new grad, of course, just graduated last May. And I was in a kind of a team who needed to hire multiple engineers. And so he got the interview, he did well, and I called him and he was like, so I told him, I said, we want to make you an offer. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And so he was like, he said, Chenae, I graduated in May. I have applied so much. And he said, this just came out of nowhere. He was like, the interviews came out of nowhere. This offer is coming out of nowhere. And he was fine with like relocating. Like it wasn't, but the relief in his voice and on his face was just like, thank God. And I know that feeling. Yeah. I know that feeling where, especially with new grads, where you did all this work and now your classmates have become your competitors because all of you are looking for a job at the same time. And so this one particular team that I worked with, I praise God for this team because they gave me the opportunity to make offers to new grads. And so to experience like that turnover, so to speak, of going from now I'm a college grad, I am now a job seeker, but now I have a job in a very prestigious company. To watch that and to hear the relief in their voices, I know what that's like.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when I graduated in I graduated in November 2013. I was applying to everything. Nothing was landing. Yeah. I looked up, recruiter hit me up from Apex. And I got to tell everybody, I always keep it honest. That first help desk contract, $17 an hour.
Yeah.
But to me, from Shreveport, Louisiana, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I'm around people that's making 10, 12, $8 an hour.
Yeah.
Not realizing that what I was getting paid at the time was getting underpaid because we was doing the most work. Them teams I was telling we assigned stuff to, they don't do nothing until we assign it to them. We the ones taking the calls.
Oh yeah.
So like I was like, man, like, am I gonna land something? Like, cause it's stupid me. I had to get a clearance for the role, and at the time I worked at Target all throughout college. So I was back at Target, and so they was like, yeah, you're supposed to start like April. So I quit before I actually like got the official first day. But I actually think I needed that relief. Like I went from graduating in 2013 directly back to working from like college. So it's like I was just on go. I needed that month and like a couple of weeks of like not doing nothing. Yeah. But I just unfortunately really wasn't prepared for it. Like money had got real tight right before then. But then I finally got that start and had the drive and it was on now. It's like all the things like when we talk about people getting into tech or anything else, then we start thinking about some stuff that like school didn't really teach you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Email etiquette. You don't know how to respond and send emails the right way. A lot of people are typing their emails like they text.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You got to learn. You got to say per so and so.
And I do it now. Like even in my emails, whether it's personal or professional, and in my DMs, and I'll catch myself. So if I reread it, I'll go, oh no, don't say it that way. Say it this way.
Yeah. I think it also starts with the house. I think as parents, if we teach our kids how to prepare for the real world like that, like, we have allowances, right? How about we set up something where they can have like different jobs and you have them apply for that job and say, hey, you want to be a dishwasher? Let's do an interview. So prepare your kids for the future. Because when they get into like college, they need to know, okay, I need to know, I do the basics of things. So when I get out there in the real world, I'm prepared, more prepared than somebody else.
You should trademark that.
He gonna have my kids applying to be this.
Yeah,
No, funny enough though, it's not the same thing. But they had this thing in Frisco for kids called Kidzania, and like they get to go into place and they get to do different jobs. So like you can be a fireman, you can be a policeman, you could be a podcaster. They got like different stuff they could do there. But no, funny enough that you say that. I was on TikTok. And I guess Dr. Umar was on Lil Yachty's podcast or something. But he was talking about parents saying like the kids who are not doing good in school and all this and that, but the parents still saying, oh, my kid is going to go to school. And he's saying, before you send them to school, ask yourself, did you prepare this person to go to school?
Yes.
Right. Do they have the discipline to be successful in that? Did you prepare them for all that? And when you really start thinking about your child, you're like, I really didn't.
Yeah.
I seen the same thing with my brothers. I was like, oh, this one needs to go to community college. This one will be fine. I'm telling my mama, one of them to listen because sometimes you just got to hit your own head and they come back and say you're right. But I was like, I've been through it. I don't want you to have to go through the struggles that I did, whether it didn't have what I needed the first quarter or second quarter, or really not knowing how to schedule my classes, or not knowing how to network all the different ways of time I wasted of not going to career fairs, or just, I was talking to my friend, all of us are from the same area. It was like, I didn't really even know about like just applying like internships everywhere because I was so concerned about getting to a place because I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids that's not applying to internships because they're somewhere else because they don't have a car.
Yeah.
When they don't realize a lot of times that company will pay for them to come to wherever they at. And now we got Uber and stuff, like it'll be a way for them to work.
Remote work and everything too.
So those are a whole bunch of things. I don't know if they're having those real conversations with those graduates or those college kids, but I think those are the conversations they need to have outside of the same stuff that they taught the people 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I do wish that schools had a different criteria to when they hire their career services people.
Yeah.
Because the career services office in my school anyway taught us about like different job boards that we can use, but the step-by-step and baby step strategy is missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything was the same. Like the resume that they taught me how to make in, I think, business communication class or whatever it was not aching to something that would speak to what skills or what projects I worked on, getting that undergraduate degree to make me look like a good candidate.
Yeah.
That's another big part that was missing, and of why, like, if you didn't get an internship and you, of course, you got related coursework, but hey, what did you do in those related courses?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you worked at Target. Cool. That's good. You got some soft skills there, but what do you know how to do? I didn't know how to showcase that. The Helpdesk is how I showcase that I had some type of technical competency about myself.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and me being in the background while she's on working, listen to her candidates, they look great on paper, right? But when you go up in front of the manager to have the interview, they have a hard time articulating what they actually do. You know, their paperwork can show it, but they can't show the manager, hey, this is why I do X, Y, and Z. So I've seen people fail like that. For me, I'm thinking like, yo, these people are very, very smart people. You would think they already had a leg up, but a lot of times they're not prepared mentally.
Yeah, I think that's one of the first things. Like, she's known, we won't say, but we talked about an interview that I did that I was self-aware on, knowing that I knew which parts of that loop I did well in, and I knew which parts that I did okay, but could have did better.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of rust and other stuff that's going on career-wise. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are not self-aware, and so sometimes a lot of them are just mad, like, yo, I ain't get picked, I should have got picked. Mm-hmm. I'm like, brother, if you record yourself, listen back and see how you sound.
Yeah, yeah.
I say it all the time. Like, I tell people, hey, please don't oversell yourself. Like, if they'll interview your resume as is for some entry level, don't try to overdo it, because you're gonna add pressure on yourself.
Yeah, keep it simple.
My client did that, and I was mad because I was like, bro, don't add extreme stuff on your resume without me looking at it. Mm-hmm. But two, why did you add this stuff? Not thinking. Mm-hmm. I was straight up honest with him. I was like, bro, we black. Your interview not gonna really be easy.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm keeping honest with you. All this money they finna pay these people that want to work this job.
Mm-hmm.
Your interview gonna be hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had to get that through his head. And the other night was doing like mock interviews, so I was talking with him and I was giving him ways of how he can stop saying or some of his filler words. And I was saying, listen, sometimes I'll just pause and start back talking. Like, it's okay. Like, in your mind, you think you're talking very slow, but you're really not.
Yeah.
And I said, when you reduce the amount of or likes or rights or whatever your filler word may be, mine used to be, say, all the time. Never knew I was saying it until I started listening back to podcast episodes and content I used to make about boxing. But I was like, that takes away a little bit from them feeling like you know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
And if you can minimize a lot of that, you'll sound better. And I brought up, he used to play football, and I was like, he was in there talking, because I was reading the questions that he said they was going to ask him on some topics. And he was like pushing, he was gunning too much for it. And I was like, yo, you doing too much. I said, what position you played in football? He was like, I was on the O-line. I was like, so in practice, y'all practice, hey, this going to be a hard count and we're going to go on 2. Mm-hmm. Or if you doing too much, it's going to be an offsides on y'all. You're going to have to go back 5 yards. Mm-hmm. I was like, relax and let the game come to you.
Yeah.
And then I was telling about the way that he's projecting the talking. I was like, if you was talking to a chick, you would be assertive in a certain way to get her to kind of feel you versus the kind of way you're talking. Yeah. I was like, take that mind frame into this interview so they could understand, like, you're a confident individual. You're not arrogant, but you are confident.
Be yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, as I said, just keep on rehearsing these things we were talking about, send them to me in the morning. And by the morning, he sounded much better. But that's really what it takes. Somebody that gonna be honest with you and say, that don't sound good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yeah. If you're not being honest with them, you're causing them to fail.
But then you have to ask the candidate who's listening, who the client or whatever they are to you, they have to be ready to receive the honesty. Yes. And that is the hardest part about like coaching people and giving people advice is we have to be as honest as we can so that you all can understand like how to actually prepare. And so there are times when I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll start seeing, I think I did so well on this interview. And I've had candidates, no matter where I've worked in any industry, I think I did so well in this interview. Oh my gosh. And then I'll see another post or I'll see a message and they'll say, oh, I didn't get the job. And so when I was in healthcare, I was mock interviewing people just for whenever they were ready to do whatever job they were going to do. We would get together and we would mock interview on like a Sunday. And I would listen to how they answer questions. And I'm like, you think you're ready for this interview? Like, you sure? Because then on top of that, it's on the flip side of that, it's Chenae, you have to watch how you say it because then they're going to get offended. And nothing is going to be productive. So at times I'm just like, if we can be brutally honest, of course, with respect, then I think it'll be the turnover of the success rate rather would be easier and higher versus if we sugarcoat, because I just want job seekers to be in the space to receive the feedback, especially when you come off as I've done so many things and I'm qualified and oh so my gosh. Friend. And I'm just like, bruh, like, okay, you're qualified. Great. Let's talk it through. Yes, you're qualified, but you cannot interview. Mm-hmm. And I only say that because I couldn't interview either at one point. Like, right. I had a whole law degree and couldn't interview.
It's a whole skill.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like I've learned to do this. It's a skill you have to actively work at. That's why I tell people, don't stop applying, don't stop interviewing, because it's going to help you stay sharp. Mm-hmm. 2, you're going to learn the stuff that's on the market that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And 3, if you record yourself, I have a client, his problem is he just does not interview well. Mm-hmm. And he does things sometimes where I'm like, you're not directly answering their question, and you're volunteering stuff they didn't ask you.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm like, answer what they're asking you.
Repeat it back to them. Yeah. Make sure you understand it. Yeah.
Like one of the I think one of the questions that burns my biscuits or one of the comments rather that I get in messages is, no matter the industry, but since we're talking about tech, let's say tech. I want to get into tech. Chenae, I want to get into tech. Okay.
Why?
What you want to do?
Yeah, tech is very...
I want an entry-level tech job. Okay. What do you want to do? Also, why do you want to get into tech?
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. Kirsten, can you turn the slider back up for Bluetooth? I got the perfect thing. Because when you said that, I told my friend I was going to use these recordings because she was going off on her story the other day. And I was like, can I use these for a podcast? She was like, of course. Okay, this is the first part. Let's listen.
So telling people what I do for a living, it sometimes gets annoying. I'm going to vent. Yeah, because when I tell people I work in cybersecurity, because, people will ask, like, you're at the grocery store or whatever, just small talk. Oh, what do you do? I was like, I work in cybersecurity. The assumption is that I'm super rich, that I make crazy amounts of money. And then, because normally they'll say that. They're like, oh my God, you probably make what, $300,000 a year? And I'm all like, no. Close to it? No. I was like, I make good money, but I'm not there yet. Trust me, we would all know. And then I get asked, then I get told I want to, oh, how do you get a job in cybersecurity? Because I want to work in cybersecurity because I want to make a ton of money, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it always comes down to they want to make a ton of money, right? So, yeah, they assume I make a lot of money. And people want to get into cybersecurity because they think it's a lot of money. They think that you get to work remote. I do work remote, but not everyone does. But you get to work remote, and when you work remote, that means you ain't got to work, because I get literally variations of this exact statement. When I go, why do you want to work in cybersecurity? Or what's interesting you about the field? Because I just want to know, because you told me you want to work in it. I literally get told variations of this statement. I want to work in cybersecurity so I can make a ton of money, and then I can get a remote job, and then since I'm working remote, I can work anywhere I want in the world, and or I can stay at home with my kids, and I don't have to pay daycare anymore because, working remote, blah, 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 and I get paid a lot of money. So let's unpack that part.
She went on. She went off, but she was on it, and I'm glad you said that, because everybody said, why you want to get in? I ask people all the time, why you want to be working the SOC? Why you want to do red team? Why? Tell me your why.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Because companies are going to ask that. Yeah. Companies are going to ask you, why our company? Why us? If you can't answer that, what are we talking about?
Yeah. All the time. It's just craziness. But everybody know we all want to make money.
Yeah.
Sure.
All of us.
But that doesn't mean you're going to get it like that much fast. What happened in 2020 to 2022 was a blip in history.
Yeah.
Never again are they finna give y'all a lot of money for no skills.
Exactly. I think it's all about timing too. It's all about timing. You can come in the field at a certain time, make this much money. Come in later, you're like, well, I'm not making that much money as a person over here. Well, they came at the right time.
At the right time, and the other person who stayed long was realizing, hey, that 3 and 5% ain't doing nothing, because that person stayed probably at the company 2 years, and they went to another one and got a 30% increase. Then they stayed there 2 years and got another 30% increase, and now they way ahead of you because you had company loyalty.
Yeah,
and that's a whole another thing we'll talk about. And I want to ask you something about this. I don't know if I shared this with you or not, and I'm putting this on wax on the podcast. In rare instances, I know a lot of times if a company knows who they want, they'll get them. But typically, a lot of companies, from what I experienced, typically like to at least let everybody interview, then make their decision, at least once they get the feedback, from my experience. Now, have there ever been instances where y'all sent the offer to somebody knowingly and had the other person interviewing, knowing the other person was sending the offer?
So your question is, knowing we already know who we want to pick. So you send an offer to the person that you want to pick, but you let the person complete their interview anyway. Right. That is not good practice.
Exactly.
At all.
I've experienced
for any company.
I've experienced that. And the funny thing is, this is the one time where on my end, I'm not making assumptions, because I know, because a person I'm friends with worked there and got the 411. Because you know in your heart of hearts, when you like everybody you talk to, you done killed it. Yeah. Y'all talking about TV shows. You write TV shows, you're going to write down. You was like, okay, that's it. And everything I was hearing from that friend of mine was like, yo, they loved you. Like, they're all recommending like a yes. And then I get hit up by the recruiter, and they're like, well, yeah, they went with a person that's a little stronger or whatever. And I told my friend, I was like, can't be. And they made a decision, and the interviewers didn't even know that an offer went out. So they was pissed, because you waste their time too. And I was like, okay, cool. It is what it is. But I was dumb enough to re-interview for a different role. End up interviewing with the person that they picked up for me. That's not overqualified for me. They got the complexion for the protection. I'm just saying they do. And even in our process, you know what? I'm going to find it, and I'm going to let you see what I sent the recruiter, because my frustration really was not aimed at the recruiter. It was aimed at them in the process of wasting my time.
But we get the frustration though. Like we're the person who has to take the frustration.
Yeah. Well, I made sure to implicitly say twice, hey, this is not aimed at you. You've been great.
Yeah, sure.
The recruiter was great. They, in a sense, not really her, because she's doing her job, but in a sense, they're making her lie and look bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is BS.
So that's an integrity issue.
Yeah.
It's like, don't waste somebody's time. That's any company in any industry. You see and learn certain things when you are a job seeker. And then, like for me, when I was a job seeker and then I switched over into being able to make offers to job seekers, you see and hear a lot of the things that are where certain classes of people do not have to deal with certain things, and you will understand because you are not a minority. So there are just certain things you won't understand. My first exposure to it was in higher education, when you would like, I remember being at a company and my mentor telling me someone tried to throw me under the bus. I'm like, won't be the last time. So what was interesting about it was my mentor was in the room and she spoke up for me, and I was like, bet, appreciate it. But you hear certain things of how people move when you're not there. Yeah. And that's where HR and the recruiters come in and say, hold up, we're not going to do this. So, and it's unfortunate that that most of the time, because the recruiters are the people who has to deliver the news, it is difficult. Like yesterday when we were at Mixer Cloud, this young lady asked Christy and I, she mentioned that she had gotten a dispo email on a Sunday. And she was like, well, what's up with I don't understand why I got this dispo email on a Sunday. And I explained to her, I said, well, it could very well have been that the recruiter, whoever it was that was attached to that role was preparing for their week. And if they were preparing for their week and it was on a Sunday, because sometimes I do it, I'll prepare for a week, but there are certain things that I have to tell myself, Chenae, right now is not the timing to click this button. Wait till Monday to click this button. Right. And so I told the young lady, I said, well, whoever is over the position could have very well just been preparing for their week, and they could have very well just clicked the button on a Sunday. Now, to the job seeker, is that right? Probably not. To the person running the position, it's, I'm cleaning something off of my plate. Mm-hmm. So so every time I hear that, I've had to adopt both angles. Yeah. I've had to adopt, if I click this button on a Sunday, on a Saturday, how is it going to make the person who receives this email feel? And then I'll tell myself, Chenae, can this wait till Monday? Yes. If it can wait till Monday, click it on Monday.
Yeah, I see both. I see both angles in there. I'm not mad at that. It was just, this is the fact that I had inside information, and I read them their rights.
That's right.
I had to. And eventually, I'm probably gonna do another episode on it because it's just a lot of stuff between that. Yeah, I have an episode where I did on being like ghosted. But here's the kicker. This is why I do always work out. I was ghosted bad for like a SOC lead role for Texas Instruments. What, 6 years ago? 8 years ago? No, seven. And the guy was telling me, yeah, you really got it. We got to meet with the people. And after that, I didn't hear nothing. This went on once. Now, mind you, it was around my birthday. This would piss me off because I'm thinking about that somehow on Sunday. Around my birthday, I had been laid off, and I got laid off, in February? Yeah, officially February, but in January, they let me know I was going to be laid off. So I'm outside, I'm having a good time. Oh, yeah, I got a job coming. Woo-doo-woo. Mm-hmm. Keep on emailing. Nothing. What my boy say on Stan? Hey, Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. Yeah. Like, I'm feeling like that. I'm like, man, what's going on? Yeah. I sent the most sucker type of email I could have sent, because at that time you're desperate. Your bills are piling up on you. Like, I tell people all the time, that's why, I'm honest. I'm like, look, during the time I was laid off, I had made a decision. Car note or rent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once the unemployment is I'm like, what I'm picking. Yeah. And I picked rent. I was like, once I land something, I'll catch the car note back up, which I did. Credit took a hit, but I had to make that decision. Yeah. But I was so mad at that situation until you fast forward a couple of months when I started working at the company I was working at Optiv. June 1st, 2018, all of us get on the contract. And one of the guys that came there actually came from Texas Instruments. Specifically, the company that they used to recruit for Texas Instruments was Talent 101. And he was like, I was like, you went there? He said, yeah, I used to work there with Jack and Nick and whatever. He said, man, you actually missed out on something bad, so it was good for you. It's like the person they hired, she didn't know anything, it's trash, everybody's leaving. Mm-hmm. So in that moment, I was like, that's kind of how I be sometimes. Yeah. Like, you right in it, and like you can't see like why is it everything not going right for me? Because I tell my job seekers that now. I just left the coaching clients a message today about like, yo, it's Q1. I was like, sometimes the job market don't really heat up to about the end of Q1, Q2, mm-hmm. They getting the budgets and recs in order. I was like, if your LinkedIn has been a little dry, I was like, mine last couple of weeks been like popping, like with some big stuff. So I was like, just take your time. Sometimes it's not you, because I told them about the situation. I was telling you about the company and the recruiters. Mm-hmm. I've told them so many things that I don't really say like on YouTube all the time that I could just share with them so they know, hey, it ain't you. I've told them plenty of times like, hey, I've literally got verbal offers for roles, and it was like, man, we want to bring you on, but we got to close the rec out because we don't know what's going to happen in the next year. Wow. If it's happened. I tell them that all the time. I said, don't get distraught. It's happened to me. I've told them, I was like, listen, I said, my resume has helped me interview for fame companies, and I've had hospitals. The other day I applied to something at 12:10 p.m., 12:13. Yeah. Sorry, we going with other people. I was like, I know for a fact y'all didn't read it, because in this region, I'm very qualified for that. But that was neither here nor there. It was just letting them know, hey, the stuff that y'all still go through, I go through too. So I'm just letting y'all know I'm no different from y'all.
Yeah. I definitely got ghosted myself internally. I applied for a role, went through the whole process.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they said that, well, so I was trying to become a level 2 technician there, right? And this role would have been a level 3 role. So when I was pretty much like the top 2 candidate choices, they said, well, we need for you to reapply for the role. I said, wow, the manager wanted to pull the role and lower it down. I said, what? So I was confused. I said, okay. They said, we'll let you know when to apply. So I waited like a week. I reached out to the recruiter. I said, hey, when should I reply? Can you give me an update? Nothing. This is all internal. Then finally the manager called me and said, oh, we found somebody else.
And we work for the same company, and I was in the recruiting department for the same company.
Yeah.
So her wife was like, who the recruiter?
Right.
I've been through that all type of stuff. Like I always managed to find friends in high places. Because in the first 2 years of that role working for was now GDIT, but at the time it was CSRA, internally 2 times they played me because I was overqualified to be on the service desk. Mm-hmm. I was to shoe in and get a job. It was only going to be like an $8,000 increase working messaging. Mm-hmm. The dude that used to work on Helpdesk with me was like the manager. They said, I got you. Mm-hmm. They stopped me from interviewing for that because I think at the time OPM had a hack and they knew they couldn't bring any other people in because of that. But I'm like, what y'all could have did was, hey, we know you want to leave over here. We're going to give you a raise because you're already an exceptional performer, and we're trying to like keep you over here. They never tried to do that. Second time was they knew I wanted to work in security. They told them they wouldn't let me go because I was one of the good people, and I had a hunch about this. And another guy that was on the floor with me did not even have the credentials I had, and he got to go. And I was like, that's my man's and everything, but how he went over me? Mm-hmm. And then that's when the little birdie and them told me like, yeah, they was talking like, no, we're not gonna let him go. He performed good. He can go.
Yeah.
And I was like, bruh, so if you're gonna do that, you ain't gonna never say, hey, we know he's gonna get a big raise. Let's do this. I had like around that time, I had felt like the teacher on Lean on Me when he went and flipped Mr. Clark's desk over. I was like, I said, I realized I had bills, but I was about this close. I said, Randall finna see me.
Yeah.
Cause I went in there and asked him like, yo, hey, you heard anything about it? The recruiter said like, y'all told him like don't interview me because I got, this going on. Nah, I don't know nothing about it. Mm-hmm. See, all you got to do, like, if I'm asking you, I already know the answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And after that, they was dead meat. I was like, I'm getting to Texas one way or another, and then it's gonna be out for y'all because y'all played yourselves. Like, but that's the crazy thing too. Is like everybody just goes through it, but also that's when I'm younger. So at that time, 22, 23, 24, however old I am. So I'm younger then. So I don't know how to make sure I get outside of where I'm working more visibility in other areas so I can get people to advocate for me and say, no, we want him.
Yeah.
Because if I go back and replay that, I stay, because I used to work like overnights and all these different times. I stay, find the people that's over there and really just build a rapport with them. Like, I need you to snatch me away. Yeah. Because there was people that came on the help desk and got snatched away, and I had been there longer. I said, I got more clout. How am I still here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
And they used to kill me.
and I think that's like the downside about the service desk part of it. Because if you're doing a phenomenal job, they're not going to want you to leave or like try to promote you. So I would see younger guys doing all this amazing work. Ticket numbers are crazy high. And when the next time, say, if a new schedule came out where you could work, early in the morning and get off early in the day, right? They would apply for those time frames. They wouldn't get them. They were like, "Why am I not getting these roles?" Because you're doing your job, the manager's job as well, doing reports and everything, and do everything else on top of that. So why would they move you? So I had to let other people know, like, you want to make a way for yourself. Reach out to those people in those departments you want to be in. Say, hey, can I shadow with y'all? Sometimes if you don't have that good manager to back you, you can be stuck in that role for a long time.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, that's one of the funniest thing though, when people are already working, when they come with me, I'm like, hey, have you talked to anybody internally? Did you get a chance to shadow? And I have a client now I'm working with, he's the one that I was talking about earlier about the football analogy. And that's how he initially got the experience he got. Now I was like, yo, we did a consult, and I was like, ask them, can you shadow? And they let him, and he's been doing really good work for them for a while, but he's just trying to, branch off and get more money. So I'm like, you sometimes got the resources you need where you at. Yeah. You just got to figure out where the resources lie.
That's to be all the time. Anytime you're at work and you're trying to get into a certain field, say in tech, I say focus on your current skill set. Get into that company, then work your way around. Communicate, talk to other people in that area that you want to be in and plant your seed. She taught me that.
I was saying, where you get that from?
I give you flowers and everything.
Okay.
Give you little flowers.
The recruiter husband is in the building.
Now, because he'll be trying to give you my props. Like, I will prop him until I can't prop no more. When it's my turn, I'll be like, hold up, dog, where you get that from?
Let me shine. Let me shine.
I'll let you talk.
Let him land.
Right.
Go
Let me
ahead.
land. I got the
Look, he the ghostwriter behind Recruiter Cousin.
But yeah. That's what I get. Like I said, I learned from her from that. But and I try to really push that now. It makes sense. It just makes perfect sense. Like, get your foot in the door at least, then work your way around.
I mean, I learned from him a lot too, though, because
Really?
like
What you learn?
knowing that a lot of what I do is very technical, and I am not technical. So there are times when I'm not totally sure on what I'm fully looking for, and because he codes, he'll show me what codes look like, and I'll go, "Oh, that's what that looked like."
I'm glad you brought that up because I've realized, and I don't want to say this because it's not going to come out bad if they kind of grasp what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. There are recruiters that not necessarily technical, but if they're sourcing and recruiting for a role, they know what to get out of the candidate and they'll probably find the right candidate versus the ones who don't know what they're looking at because of sometimes what the hiring manager has and they can't really differentiate because it may be some stuff that's not the same and you may discount a person that actually could do the role, but a lot of stuff maybe not be on their resume, but they do it already.
Yeah.
And I've seen that sometimes where some people like, dang, how did they not get them when they know how to do it? I know this might not be on their resume. Mm-hmm. And then they're the ones that they talk to you, it's like, you know what? Oh, cool. They're looking for this and all these different things. And they're able to pull that out. Yeah. Because like I said, the same friend, I'm always messing with him. He gets mad. It's like, man, that's why I don't like messing with the recruiters. Because I go to bat for the recruiters. Like, listen, the recruiters didn't source me and I done got my jobs working with the recruiters. Like, they didn't help me out. Oh, yeah. He was like, well, I got my job now because I reached out to the hiring manager and that's how I got my job, which, can happen too. He's like, I never get a job talking to recruiters. I'm just like, it might just be, most of the time I always tell them, it might just be your resume. Yeah. To be honest.
I mean, honestly, like I tell people all the time, I cannot read in between the lines of your resume. Mm-hmm. Like if it's not there, it's not there. Yeah. Like granted, you probably did it. You probably right. Yeah. You most likely are right that you did it. But if it's not on your resume, I don't know that you did it.
Right. And people gotta understand there are two types of recruiters. You have in-house recruiters and you have headhunters.
Are there?
Yes, there is.
Go ahead.
I'm
here for it. You did. You told me about the headhunters. You did.
Because the headhunters, they got me my promotions, my jobs I've been looking for because they will fight for you.
So you was like the Lawrence on Insecure.
Pretty much.
When he was like me with the head hunter and she was like going out for him.
So I mean, they definitely will vouch for you. They'll sit down with you, figure out your needs, what you want to do, how much money you want to make. And they have clients. So they'll reach out to the client, hey, I have a perfect candidate for you. This is their resume. Talk to the person, have great personality. Let's go from there.
That definitely works with that relationship thing.
Yes.
I always tell people.
You need a middleman.
Relationship. Sometimes too, in the small tech world, especially if you did good work and you work for a leader that's ascending, if they got the right job for you, you probably don't have to interview hard. It's like, listen, I don't care. Like, because if the hiring manager is a hiring manager, I don't care what y'all say, this person did this, and this for me, I want them.
Yeah.
And it ain't fair, but if you already got the proof that you done did this for this manager.
Yeah, that's true. I've left jobs. And I still have the hiring manager's numbers, and I still have, we still make email or LinkedIn from time to time. And I've left jobs, and I've heard hiring leaders go, Chenae, why did you leave? Like, and I've heard you got some britches to fill, because good Lord. And I'm just like, and I've also had managers that'll say, like, the way you approach your job or the way you approach recruiting is different. And I'm like, well, I'm a creative. Yeah. So I think creatively. And also too, I get bored quickly. So I have to be like, my mind has to be thinking creatively so I don't get bored with my job, because recruiting is the same thing every single day. So I have to find, so I have to find creative ways to want to do my job and enjoy it every day.
Yeah.
Check you out. Yeah. I know, like I was hearing like the recruiters like be on Reddit and they're, are you on Reddit? Really? I'm surprised. Like Reddit, Blind.
Reddit's pretty big.
Now I know I am not I'm not on Blind, but I'm behind the scenes of Blind. Like I'll from time to time I'll hit my app and I'll just read what people say and I'll just
it'd be some hilarious stuff on there. Yeah, I text my old manager. She's the director at CrowdStrike now. What up, Ashley? I text Ashley all the time about, yo, this or that. Or I try to send her some people that I think that might be good for her org that I know. And just we always just talk about the kids and stuff every so often. And but yeah, that's it. And but I want to get back on YouTube about both now with you being in the tech industry and you being in tech for years, just being married in tech. Like, how is it? Like, earlier I brought up about y'all being able to take trips because you both have good incomes. Does that make it? Let me see what question I want to ask. I want to ask, I guess, I would assume you to understand each other's role, and it also makes it better on y'all. Because think about it, if you could be with a partner who don't really understand the mental toll you have for like are both of y'all remote?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So being both remote, but like sometimes, you go through your mood swings. I know I'm looking at the computer. Sometimes I don't I come out.
That's normally me.
I like, hey girls, hey y'all, I want to see y'all, but then I kind of don't want to talk to nobody for a while. Like I need my space. Like today I worked out of the private office in the Galleria, and I was like, man, this is perfect. I don't hear nobody crying, nobody took nobody toy. I was like, this all right here. But it's like some of that stuff that like, the misconceptions of like, working from home and having somebody maybe not knowing everything that you got going on, or the good thing that you two both work from home is a lot of times the other partner might think you ain't really working because you work from home.
Well, we both be working.
Yeah, definitely.
Whew. Sometimes he has to come in my office and go, all right, that's it. Because I'm literally either in the middle of something or I'm trying to finish something. And I'm like, a lot of what people don't understand is that recruiting is, a lot of it is networking and talking to people and moving you all through the process. The other side to that is the administrative side. So there's a lot of the administrative side that we have to finish before our day is done or before our week is done, so we don't have to take it into the next week. And so there are many times where Terrence will come in my office and go, all right, babe, that's it.
Yeah, let's go have lunch or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're the one that wake up at 11 at night and send the offers out.
I do.
Yeah, she do.
And there are times where he like, thought you was off today. I'm like, I am. I just got to do this one thing.
Real quick. I do this
got to do this one. That's my excuse a lot of the time. I'm getting so much better with it though, of like fully disconnecting, because I know what it's like. Like this will be me on a Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm sending out offers. I know what that feels like. Like, why would I make my candidate? Why would I make them wait the entire weekend? Hey, when I could send them an offer.
I think I got an offer on a Friday one time when it was like Intel. I was like, oh yeah, we finna go eat. Let's celebrate.
Yeah, you should be go into the weekend celebrating.
Yeah, I know. Like, I had a thought you were talking about. Oh, the only job I was like that with was Optiv. It was like LeBron. Like I was picking up everything. I'm catching all the rebound, passing my assistant. I'm shooting. I'm doing everything. And when Dayspring started working there, he was like, I was on either I was on paternity leave or I was on vacation. He was like, yeah, bro, it's different when you're not here. I was like, I know. Y'all gonna see how different it is once I'm gone. But after that, everybody has only gotten what you need. High performing in them hours of time. Yo, Terrence, if people wanted to right now, let's say they ain't got no experience, they've been working at Walmart for the last 3 years, but they want to get into IT. What would you have them do?
Definitely get into the service desk field. I mean, that's a great opportunity to get into tech. Again, you don't need much, background in IT at all. They need people, because those positions do go quick. I mean, they do have people go, come in and come out. So they're trying to fill as many spots as they can as fast as possible. So that's like your quickest opportunity to get into tech and also get a paycheck to do it. You may not, get 6 figures, but at least you'll get the experience you need to make 6 figures down the road.
Yeah. So I've been seeing some people that's having even hard times landing Helpdesk interviews.
Yeah. It's all about your interviewing skills too. So like my wife, she helps me if I have to apply for a position, she'll interview prep me. She'll sit down with me because if you've been at a job for a certain amount of years, you haven't interviewed so long. Yeah. You lost that skill set. So it's good to, I feel like now is if you have a job, you're happy with it, at least interview once a year at any company. Don't matter if you want the job or not. Just interview, just to make sure your skill sets are still growing. Like I definitely heard too as well.
Right. But
I ain't claiming that. Y'all heard him say that.
But are there, like, for example, how I was talking about earlier with the course careers course with like the Azure and like ticketing systems, like, are there any things would you like advise them to learn like on their own?
I would say Azure. In my current role, I didn't have a background in Azure at all, but I saw a need that we needed for the company. I took ownership of that. So I pretty much had to learn Azure from the ground up by watching YouTube videos. It's also helpful to have the tools in front of me so I can at least try to do some things, see if they actually work. But those YouTube videos really help. Looking up like articles and everything, that really help. And also that Microsoft has like training online you actually can do for free as well. At least get the basic stuff and everything.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of going with them when it comes to getting hands-on experience, like with Sentinel, Defender. Yeah. You can set up Intra, Authenticator, Threat Explorer, Purview, and other tools I'm not even naming. Mm-hmm. But I think they're pretty cool. I know, funny thing enough, I was talking to my friend and I was saying, right now I'm working on, how can I help my clients find realistic projects that we can put on the resume that helps the recruiters and also maybe the interviewers know they have a good grasp of this role, even if they don't have the experience for it. Yeah. And so I was explaining to him, like, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up so there's this platform called TryHackMe that everybody uses, right? But most of them are all doing the same thing. They're just doing the TryHackMe stuff and answering the questions. I said, so I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to show them how, we answer the questions. Now we're going to use this specific incident response open source platform that I can do the incident summary and act like I'm sending it out to the stakeholders. Like whenever I do a walkthrough video, that's like, so if they go through and set it up, they'll understand kind of like the ins and outs of like, I got an incident, I'm investigating it, and now I'm actually doing pretty much the important part that all the execs want to see. They want to see, what we find, what our updates, what are our like action steps, and what are our immediate steps, what have we done to contain the threat. So when you can do that, you may not have the experience, but I'm always telling myself, I'm willing to bet most of the people who are interviewing for this entry-level role do not have a project like this on their resume. Yeah. And they would not understand because they don't have the benefit of knowing me for me to tell you, hey, do this. Bring up this when they say, what would you do if you found out there was a malicious phishing email and somebody clicked it? What would you do? Yeah. They don't have me to kind of guide them through that and tell them. So it's like, that's the benefit. And if you can show that on your resume, I'm not going to say it's just going to get you the job, but you definitely going to get more interviews than a person that does not have it at all. And they just went out and get a lot of certifications and just think they're supposed to interview because those certs mean they have skills.
Yeah, no, it's just all about having those real life experiences. Like even if they're like, made up, at least you'll be able to speak to them in that interview. Yeah. So when they ask you those questions, I did this in my training, so I could go ahead and speak to that. So it comes off a little bit more fluent. Then you actually do have experience, and there's somebody that's kind of off the head, like, oh, maybe I would do this right here, so you don't sound as confident.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for example, I was looking through some of the stuff that Josh teaches in the course, and he helps them set up, I believe they set up OS Ticket in Azure. But if you go to OS Ticket's website, they have a cloud-based one that you can just get a 30-day trial on. And when you set it up with your email, now whatever you forward to the email can make an incident. So I was like, if you want to get into IT, you can start making your own little tickets from your email about, hey, we need this change done on this host, or you need to do this, or we need that. So you can start, hey, I closed out 30 tickets in my environment. I did this. I followed the change process according to Otto. I documented this. I did that. I did all these different things in Jira, whatever. But he was okay, cool. They're going to hit the ground running. Yeah, yeah. So that's all what it is. Because I always get that question, like, how do I come up with projects? Because you just don't know what those people do on their day-to-day jobs. And like, if you can figure that out, that's why my main advice is like, hey, go talk to them people that's doing the jobs on LinkedIn. Yep. Ask them.
Yeah, so what's your day-to-day look like, Yeah.
Yeah, what skills I need to learn that I don't learn currently right now. And because that's the one hard thing is like sometimes some skills are gatekept. You can't like all that good EHR stuff they do in healthcare. You can't learn that on your own. You somebody got to sponsor you for you to learn that, which sucks. But if you can, that's why that's really the bread and butter. Oh yeah, that Epic. Oh yeah, you got a job for a while. I ain't never seen nobody that know Epic got a job.
They're doing pretty well. Doing really well. I think like when you're like trying to get into tech, also like you may not know what you want to do. So I think, like you said, it's good to shadow with people, see what they're doing day to day, because you may not like doing that.
Yeah.
You may say, I want to be a cybersecurity person. I can see what they do. Like, I don't want to do that now.
I tell people that all the time. I say sometimes you think you want to do this, but you don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, y'all think y'all finna do penetration testing and y'all finna be Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're going to be sending out these communications and maybe do a scan once, and now you're writing up your findings.
Boy.
You're not having as fun as you want to.
Yeah.
But Chenae, on our last episode, I believe we talked about like one of the most interesting calls you ever had, I guess, like screening someone before. Now, I want to flip it. I want to ask, what's your worst call when flipping somebody? I mean, what's your worst call when screening somebody?
When I was in healthcare, Lord have mercy. So when I was in healthcare, there was this. So we use a pre-screening tool called Modern Hire, and so essentially what that is if I used to work for Levi's, and with Levi's they actually did this where you record yourself answering a question, it give you a certain amount of time, and the person on the other side of the reviewer, who's of course reviewing it, can see kind of what you say. And so they can also see and understand if what you said is on par with what the company is looking for. So I had the task of sending out Modern Hire emails to all of my candidates for various roles. So I used to recruit for patient transport, which had a really high turnover. So I always, every week I was sending, like my patient transport department, shout out to Brandy, my patient transport department was like my Wednesday. So they just got one day with me where I would just front load everybody and just kind of send out a bunch of emails. I asked one of my other departments if they wanted to do this for one of the leadership roles, and the role was like an admin director. So the hiring manager was like, of course, like that would be great if we can use this to kind of screen in and, you know, make sure that we are looking at people fairly and equitably. So this one candidate, she didn't realize that she was being recorded. And I think a little bit of privilege started to come out. And so she said something to the effect of, I don't even know why I applied here. So I'm not going to say the company. If y'all go on my LinkedIn, you most likely know who I'm talking about. So I don't even know why I effing applied here. I don't even know why I effing applied for this role in the first place. And her partner came to the screen and was trying to help her, like, maneuver and try to stop the video or play the video because she didn't realize it was recording. So my hiring manager says, Chenae, can we disqualify somebody based on how they screened? I was like, of course. I was like, but we want to at least give them a chance. So she said, oh, you didn't see the screening video. I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, okay, go look at the video and then you tell me. I was like, all right. So I looked and I reviewed it and I went, oh, like I immediately was like, oh my goodness. And so I emailed her. I said, you can absolutely disqualify this person based on their response. So that was probably my number one. And I used to use that as an example, but of course I couldn't show the video for confidentiality purposes. But I would use that video as an example of how not to interview or screen. Mm-hmm. There have been other times where I've used that tool and the person, like this young lady, she had a baby on her back. It was another lady who was actually interviewing with the hiring team. And I think it was because they were interviewing at the time we were using Zoom. So I think it was because they were using Zoom that the candidate was so like comfortable that she interviewed in her pajamas. Like there was so many different examples that I'm like, y'all have gotta be kidding me. So like in my current role, when I applied in my current role, I sat at my computer in a full suit, like I had a dress on. I had on stockings, like they was gonna be able to see my legs. Like I literally dressed up to make sure that nothing was out of whack. And I there are certain things that I saw when I was in healthcare that I'm just like, y'all want a job? Like, you've got to be kidding me. But then there are other times when it actually happens with candidates who are leaders, who feel like, I'm a leader. Why do I have to interview? Why do I, like, you get that, you do get that attitude from people.
Yeah. He know in tech, I done went in so many interviews. Like you talking about, them people had me messed up. I was waking up way before 8 o'clock, suited and booted, going there just for you to ghost me. As I tell people back in the days. Or going to interview with the suit on and they got on the polo and jeans. Yeah. I'm like, bro. So now, you know what they get out of me? Maybe a collar shirt from Express, briefs.
Yeah, I've been doing this for too long.
If it's a little bit prestigious, a little button down.
Yeah.
They ain't finna get no full piece suit because ain't nobody over the other thing finna have a suit on.
Yeah.
Well, my current role, actually, they did a really good job with like making us really comfortable. So the recruiter was like, be yourself. And I'm like, okay. Like, what does that mean? And so when the interviewers were interviewing me and I saw how relaxed they were, it really genuinely helped that feeling of, oh, take the pressure off and just relax yourself.
And I will say they are amazing at that because I commented on that through that process of how everybody, like I said, even one person in a loop, starting our interview with an icebreaker for my recent podcast. So I did commend them on that because I thought that was like pretty cool of like getting me to calm down because I was a little nervous. I was like, I've been playing my gang system for years. I'm talking to them, and then once I kind of got it together, I was good.
Yeah, you need an icebreaker. I think I wish a lot of hiring managers would practice that instead of coming in serious. And
let's talk about something else. That's why I actually like coaching because I got stories for days. The client I was talking to you about did an interview one time with this company to where the person who interviewed him, and I'm an advocate for this, your interviewers need to have good people skills.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
It rubbed me the wrong way that he told this person about 3 times, hey, you know, how's it going? How you doing today? 3 times. And the person never said, oh, I'm doing well, or never like addressed that. Or not even telling just off the base of how they sounding, they are super nervous and not saying, hey, it's all right, man. I know you're a little nervous. Let me kind of ask you some regular stuff to kind of get you to stop being so nervous. Like, that really grounded my kid. I told the person who referred that my client there, I said, y'all not going to find no good people because that dude has horrible people skills.
Yeah. I've been in a situation like that when I interviewed for a role and I could tell the interviewer doesn't really have people skills or must have had a bad day or something like that must have happened. And it made me feel uncomfortable as a candidate. And of course I didn't get the role, but for that same company, somebody else hired me, but they had a personality. It made me feel comfortable. So I was able to express how I am as a good candidate, and became like the most outperforming employee they had. So yeah.
Definitely. And now, so I want to ask you a funny one. What's your funniest Helpdesk call story?
Oh man.
You be so irritated.
I do. Oh man, let me think. Well, okay. Here's one. It's kind of short, but I feel like if you are putting in a ticket and you have a certain title, certain role, say like you're an engineer, I expect for you to know some stuff, at least some basic stuff. You're an engineer. Even if you don't work on computers, you might be an engineer on like, certain machines, whatever, right?
Wait. Before you finish this answer, just make sure that you're talking generally.
Oh yeah, I am. Well, it's about
I'm not gonna let him incriminate himself.
No, this is his previous job.
No, because when he venting, I gotta be like, hold on, wait a minute.
We'll put, if you say somebody's name, we'll do the SpongeBob dolphin sound.
I love it. Now this happened a couple years ago, way before my current role.
Okay, good.
But they put a ticket in, and actually I had to go there and go help him. So the issue pretty much was he was trying to move documents from pretty much from one computer to another. I said, well, you can save it to the cloud. We had OneDrive. He said, how do I do that? I'm looking at him like, you're an engineer. You make way more than I do. You're working on these $1 million, machines and everything. So why don't you know how to copy and paste, data? So I was very confused with that. So he looking at me, I'm showing him like, this is how you grab it. Click, hold, drop. Click, hold, drop. He like, okay. I'm looking like, you want to take over now? you know, but he sat there puzzled. I'm saying like, how are you in this role?
Yeah, listen.
I think we all have those. I think we all have those times where you wonder why. How did you get here?
You must knew somebody. I knew somebody.
So take it from that, and then you take it to when you work in cyber and IR, and you're seeing the people fall for the dumbest scams ever.
Oh yeah, like this. Oh man,
lady said something the other day about, I thought I was calling the internet people, and then they didn't hijack my router. I'm like,
yo, I got another one for you real quick. So this person, they put a ticket in saying that their computer's acting up. So we called them, said, hey, what's going on? They said, Microsoft called me and said, I had a virus on my computer. They needed a remote into my computer. So she followed their instructions, allowed them to, log into her computer. We found out, of course, she had a virus on her computer. We shut down her computer. We said, bring your computer in. Don't turn on to nothing. So a couple of days later, she reaching out, saying, can I get my computer back? I need my data, blah, blah, blah. She worried about her data, not knowing what she just did. Risk the company, We put us in a bad predicament here. So we have a lot of, data that can't get out there in the world. So eventually that person got let go. Stuff like that was puzzling to me. Why are you not understanding the problem you just caused here? So yeah.
They never understand. When I tell people on my show, like outside of this portion of like my pod, I also have a portion where we cover like tech events, security breaches, we react to content. When I tell them most of the time, I said, hey, these big incidences most of the time caused by negligence. People don't believe me. I said, I promise to God, somebody said, hey, we should fix this control right here. Somebody said it. Like, I shouldn't be able, if you work for company B and I'm an attacker, I shouldn't, even if I do compromise you, I shouldn't be able to use my laptop to log on to the company's, like anything that's proprietary to the company. I should automatically get revoked if I try to do the MFA prompt. It's like, not a company A owned asset. Yeah. It's a simple thing you can put in to stop all that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Companies don't do it. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, some of my funniest help desk calls was we'll have an outage. So we have to put up you have to put up the what's that little thing called when somebody called into the help desk and it's
a robotic, like a automated.
Yeah. I can't think of the exact term. We have to put one of those up and they'll call in. Hey, I can't check my email. Hey, we can't check it either. the whole TSA network is down.
The whole network is down. When was it resolved?
Or they was working from home. Hey, I can't search YouTube or something because like the security team would go through and block like YouTube and Comcast. We can't either. Hey, I can't get on the internet. Hey, you called your ISP? Like we can't help you, dog. Yeah. Like all type of stuff. The funniest one was a woman trying to tell me that her password was her username. And this is when I was on my way out of the help desk. And mind you, I used to support TSA screeners, really all the big admin people in all the airports worldwide. And so I was like, every time I like fly, I was like, man, these the people that's making sure we ain't got no weapons on us.
You was over it at that point.
But I was like, okay, because in help desk, you're not supposed to hang up on people. I was like, you know what? I hung up. I was like, what they gonna do? Fire me? I'm already gone. Right. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was hanging up on everybody. I was like, shoot, what you think you gonna say this to me?
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people all the time, like the service it's not hard. The people that you have to support make your job harder than what it should be.
Yeah, because you'll log on to somebody saying, okay, go to Google Chrome. What's Google Chrome? What you mean? You don't know what Google Chrome is?
God. Oh, have those stories too. Like file, go to your file explorer. What was that? It's the envelope.
I'm like, look, every day. I'm like, press the Windows button. I was like, oh, you want to? Cause see, before
in their defense, maybe they don't know y'all terminology.
It's fine.
They use the internet all the time.
It's like use it every day. So I learned from my old supervisor. He said, anytime you get a call, as soon as you realize they have no clue, remote to the computer.
Facts.
Regardless what the issue is, remote in.
We used to use before like Skype and stuff. We were using Microsoft Communicator. So this predates Teams. And I was like, you on Communicator? Let me just remote in. I'll fix it right here. I was like, I can't deal with this. I could navigate you this and fix it. But sometimes, them good times, like it's almost time for lunch. Or it'd be the times where I done did like 3-4 calls and the person over me still on the call. So, okay, bet, watch this. All right, cool. I'll stay on the line while you reset.
Yeah.
That was the best thing about Kodak.
Yeah.
When we worked at Kodak, if we had to keep doing reboots, reboot it.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna take about 10 minutes.
And, like another worst user you have to support is ones that don't want to take the information that you're giving them. Like, for example, my previous jobs,
Very good.
somebody would call, they would say, hey, I'm at home working, and every time I'm like working, my VPN disconnects. Can you help me? Now, I know what the issue is. They don't want to hear it. Now, I tell them the issue is, I had the same exact issue. The issue is it's your router. My router works fine on my other computers, blah, 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 but they're not on VPN. VPN takes up so much data, so your router's having a hard time staying connected. I said, once I got me a new router, I ain't had the issue anymore. But people still, to this day, have a hard time understanding that when you have that issue, a lot of times, it's most likely your router. I said, it's how you resolve it. Connect your computer directly to your modem. That shuts them up every time.
Yeah, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah, a lot of times they won't do that.
Or you're just trying to tell me some information that I don't want to hear. I was like, listen, you got it.
Yep.
Well, I'm a customer y'all just gonna be mad at. And when I'm home, I'll be like, babe, what?
That's why we put you on mute.
I'll be like, here, do this. Babe, it's right. Here, do this.
My girl, I don't know, I don't know how to forward that. Like, press the 3 dots.
Yeah.
Hit forward. That's how you do it. I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how to do it. But I want to ask y'all this real quick because we know, since I did go to Mr. Cloud and I made the joke about it being speed dating, for the techies that are looking for love, and I may say this is a little bit more, I might aim it more at you for you being a woman so they can listen to you, an actual married woman. We know a lot of them are getting the bag, as they say.
A lot of married women?
No. I'm asking you these questions. I'm prefacing them as giving single women advice that are looking to hopefully get married.
Okay.
We know a lot of them are getting the bag, but they also want the person they're with to have the same said bag. Mm-hmm. But we know statistically that it's not add up.
Yeah.
How would you encourage them to find a partner that's going to protect, profess, and provide for them? That the stuff that they need, not they want. How would you tell them that? Because I know a lot of them on TikTok and they want to be in a soft girl era.
So I never imagined being in tech. This kind of like literally, I never imagined. I always wanted to be an attorney. That was the only thing I ever wanted to do. I actually wanted to be a judge. First African American woman on the Supreme Court. Homie beat me to it. All good. And then I used to say, I want my husband to be a mechanic. I used to always say that. And it wasn't the mechanic, like job itself. It was more or less the hard work of the mechanic. It was the grit of a mechanic. It was the getting dirty, not being afraid to genuinely get down and under something and through something and work yourself through something. So I think I was aiming more toward the process of a mechanic and how they take to fix something versus the actual job itself. Granted, mechanics are great people. So when it comes to like wanting your partner, whatever your partner is and what that looks like to you, I like this whole thing about Cheesecake Factory and not wanting to go to the Cheesecake Factory.
We go all the time. It be packed.
That's my favorite restaurant. And for me, honestly, our first date was Applebee's. Excuse me for our first date being Applebee's, and I married the man of my dreams. So, and I married a man who is a man's man, who protects me, who supports me, who pushes me, who catches me, because there are a lot of things when you're a recruiter cousin or your HD or your whatever your brand is, there are a lot of things that come at you that the public don't know about. Mm-hmm. And so you need that person who is solid. And that person being solid, do you care whether he is a mechanic or if he works at Family Dollar? Like in my mind, I want a man who loved me, adored me, put me first, came home, takes care of our family, loves his family. And so to me, and this could very well be just my preference, and I'm okay with that. And if y'all come at me, that's fine. Because again, married the man of my dreams, so we ain't the same. For me, it's if my husband worked at Family Dollar because he wanted to take care of our family, and he was a cashier at Family Dollar, and he was happy with that, or if he was a manager at a fast food chain and he was happy with that, who am I to be like, oh, you're not enough?
Right.
Like, who am I to be like, oh, the job that you have is not prestigious enough? Like, who am I? Like, I went to there's a breakfast spot, or like a very healthy breakfast spot that by our house called Happy and Hill. Shout out to Happy and Hill, because we absolutely love Happy and Hill. So if y'all ever in North Carolina RDU area, check out Happy and Hill, because it's amazing. I was ordering my food, and I watched how happy all of them were. And I said to myself, if all of these people are happy in Hell, and they're with somebody who does not accept the fact that they absolutely, and even if they don't love what they do in the grand scheme of, this is not the career that I want, but right now I am happy in my job. Who am I to be like, oh, your job is not prestigious enough? So for me, it's always been, I never wanted someone who was a doctor or a lawyer or getting a tech bag, or he had to have cars on cars, although one body can drive a car at a time. Like, it's in my mind, I'm just like, there are a lot of unrealistic expectations that men put on women and women put on men. And I do feel like if we come together to balance each other and not have this idea of he needs to be this, and this. Well, what if he's not? What happens? Does he love you less? Do you love him less? Because there are times when I'm sure my husband had expectations of his wife, I had expectations of my husband, and I fell short of those expectations. It's the same for him. Does he fall short of certain things that I would want him to do the way I want him to do it? Yes. Do I fall short of certain things the way he wants me to do certain things? Yes. Literally, when him and I were dating, I didn't have a job. When we were engaged, I didn't have a job. Did I have more education? Yep. Was he holding down the house? Yes. He worked at a prestigious hospital. He's the one who got me into recruiting in the first place. So it's the idea that these unrealistic expectations, these fantasy movie expectations that we put on each other, that is extremely like so out there that I won't say y'all, I will say us, because I've done it too. And so I would never tell anyone something that I did not have to overcome myself. There are times when we want a specific thing. And what if that specific thing does not turn out the way we want it to turn out? Is that specific thing any less beautiful? Is it any less gorgeous or prestigious or unique? Is it anything less anything? We had very hard conversations when we first started. I mean, Lord, we had really hard conversations to a point where, and I'm comfortable enough to say this, I struggled with my identity at one point. And I had to tell my husband, like, dog, I don't really know if I like a man or a woman. I don't, because something happened. Nothing happened to me physically, but something happened to me spiritually and emotionally that I could not like understand how I felt, what was going on with me. I was extremely, like, all of us have this place in our lives where we're extremely lost. And that's where I was. And I told him, I said, real talk, I don't know where I am right now. I'm spiritually lost. I'm mentally lost. I'm emotionally lost. And I don't know me right now. And every single time I said it, he was just like, okay, come here. Come on. And it was, all right, bring it in. It was every time it was bring it in. So I don't know if his idea of his wife was someone who did not struggle with that at one point in her life. If it wasn't, cool. I might have fallen short of that expectation, but he decided to love what is still beautiful in his eyes, regardless if I was meeting his expectation in the moment or not. And it's the same for him. So saying all that to say that, and I always put myself out there because I would never tell someone something that I have not had to overcome myself in learning who I am. I am a married woman who had to overcome a lot of different things, whether that be identity, whether that be professionally, whether it be things with my family, things with friends. All of us have had to overcome a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. And so I genuinely want women to understand that you want a man or whoever your partner is to be there for you regardless of what you're in. And that's how my last relationship ended. That's why I wasn't married the first time, because I didn't feel like the person that I was going to marry wasn't there when I was in the thick of it and trying to understand. And while he decided to step up, there are many people who decided to leave. Mm-hmm. So would you prefer someone who has the bag, so to speak, financially, and someone who can drive all these different cars? Again, one body, one car at a time. Right. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's the idea of being pampered and all of these different things, but on the inside you are dying. What's more important? Mm-hmm. So when I say, rounding that all out, when I say I wanted a mechanic, my mechanic could have also very well been a Family Dollar cashier. He could have also been someone who is a serial entrepreneur. He could have also been someone who a freaking gardener, for crying out loud. Like, as long as you love what you do, who am I to be like, that ain't prestigious?
Like they say in the Bible, or a carpenter.
Or a carpenter. Yeah. The man who saved us.
Hang on, let me see this play real quick. I was trying to play this the whole time for her.
That's funny. I mean that.
I had to play that.
I mean that. Like, I genuinely mean that. Was my expectation of my husband that he would be a raggedy Patriots fan?
Let me find an organ.
No.
Haters gonna hate.
Whatever. Did I know that he was going to turn me on to actually liking The Office? Yes, I admitted it on camera, because I will not admit it at home. Yes, I like The Office. It's an amazing
I've heard.
show.
Oh,
it
man.
is. But I'm saying all this to say that I think all of us have different expectations, and I think that's okay. But in your expectation, there are times when your partner is not going to meet that expectation in the moment. Are they any less worthy of you loving them? Mm-hmm. Regardless of whether they're meeting your expectation in the moment or not. There have been times where I have treated this man like shit. And partly because of my attitude.
Yeah.
Did he love me any less? No. Did he tell me about myself? Yep.
We got to.
Yep.
And that's the dynamic too. I'm able to do that. The same thing is because of, I was like, I guess at this point you could say it's a privilege. Like, my parents are not rich or nothing, blue collar people, but they still together, the thick of it.
Yeah.
Times when pops, got laid off, wasn't working, making the money he used to make, and mom holding it down, and vice versa when she was raising my siblings and he was working. I've seen it all. Mm-hmm. I've seen them get into it, nothing disrespectful or whatever, but, as a man, learn how to be stoic and control your emotions and not going to bed, still being mad the next day. Yeah. Now, for women, I'm not being sexist, but I know y'all operate a little different. Y'all gonna be holding on to that.
I gotta process. I gotta process it. I do. I gotta. Sometimes it takes me to the next day to, like, I gotta wake up, brand new day, and we'll talk it through. But I genuinely want. All of us have different expectations, and I'm sure many women are going to disagree with me when I say Family Dollar cashier versus a mechanic. Chenae, you lying. You don't really want no Family Dollar cashier. Do I want any person that I love, regardless of who you are in my life, to strive for more? Yeah, of course. But if you are happy with who you are, where you are, and how you are, and I choose to accept that, I also don't think I have the authority to hold against you who you are, what you are, and how you are when I have chosen to accept you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. That was wonderful.
Yeah. Love it.
What you got to add on to that? Go ahead and add the cherry on top.
I would definitely say, like having expectations for a person is okay, but you got to put it on yourself. So say if you were a software engineer making $300K a year, right? You want somebody making that same amount of money, right? That sounds good. But say if you meet somebody that's a CEO making $2 million a year, they're looking at you like you ain't got nothing. But so would you want them to treat you how you would treat somebody else that don't make as much as you make them? So you got to look at that stuff too. So
yeah, I say that a lot. I say, and I'm gonna message you a little bit. Like I was like, dang, I want to. Was Chenae listening to The Godfather when he was alive or something? Because he used to tell women that all the time. Like women would feel like he was like, no, this man is a hardworking man. Make $60,000-$70,000 a year. He's just a plumber. That's all he is. Because the women will say, "Oh, well, I know I can motivate him to do." Say, no, all this man want to do work, come home and do this. And I felt you on that, right? I felt you on that because sometimes they just trying to change you or something else.
Why is that not enough?
Yeah, because say that person is making all this money you want them to make. Y'all get married, have some kids, life happens, might lose that kind of money he was bringing in. Do you love him less?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do with that now? And
the different thing, you also bring into is like women, men want these very successful partners. They don't realize all the stuff in the back end that go with it. So where one person just work and come home, that person who got a brand, who's making content, doing that, he's making a lot of sacrifices sometimes to get whatever vision he has for his family that he has to do. And some women, some men aren't ready for that. They don't know what all go into that because they look at the celebrities and this. They don't see, like they see maybe LeBron with his family, but don't see all the times LeBron and Bronny and them is hooping. They not home. Savannah with the kids, he's working. He's doing all the stuff he's doing. Or they see how many times like you got to stay in practice, or like even the times back when I was an active musician or working, going to work out. We got choir rehearsal, then we got musician rehearsal. We got show early, all these different things that take for you to be good. Or outside of that, like we talk about being in tech, or say like my girl be like, we spend the time tonight. It's like, I got to work on these resumes. I need to do this lab. I need to do this. I got to build some skills. I got to do this. Interviews coming up. I got to prep. People not seeing all that part of stuff that you kind of be like the good and the bad. And they not ready for it. It's not, like you said, expectations. Some people expectations like, oh, we just going to be cute on TikTok. We're going to have the nice cars. All our kids and stuff going to be cute.
Private schools.
Fresh cut, like all that TikTok day in the life. That's what a lot of people are living for because they don't understand. And that's because they're trying to get something that maybe they don't know what they actually need.
Like y'all have no idea. Full transparency, I can say it because my husband doesn't deal with it. I do. You deal with it because you're with me. So, but it's me. So we don't have children yet because my body is not doing it. Right. So the idea of when we found out that it was me, I had to swallow that. Right. The woman, it is the hardest thing to sit with and accept the fact that the woman's body is not doing it. Like that is a hard pill to swallow. And so even before we found this out, we had a conversation and I said, I did not marry you. So he said, babe, I didn't marry you with the idea that we would have children. I married you because I love you. And I said, okay, I realized that I did not say that to you either. So let me say it now. I married you not because of the prospect of having children, but I married you because I love you, right? If we have children, great. If we don't have children, we still love each other. Yeah. So which what everyone also doesn't see. So we get a lot of like, oh, I found y'all TikTok. Oh my gosh, y'all are so funny, but y'all don't know the tears I cry because I can't get as many children yet. So y'all don't fully understand what it's taking to be a wife and to really accept the fact that there are certain things that you have to deal with together. And again, if the mechanic or that cashier is going to deal with that, but the millionaire won't, it is a lonely place unless you either find other women who feel how you feel or your spouse completely understands. Medically, right now, I take a pill a couple times a week in hopes that at some point my husband and I will conceive. Yeah. But it's also a very sensitive topic because I keep hearing this. I don't want to go to the Cheesecake Factory. I don't want to do this, and I'm just like, okay. So what happens though, sis? What happens when you can't have children? And he really wants kids, and he start treating you like crap because your body's not doing it. What happens?
Yeah, I've seen that before.
It has happened to, like, I've seen millionaire was dating this, Instagram model. He wanted to have a kid. She can't have kids. Get it to the curb.
Yeah.
It happens.
So for me, it's if my mechanic or if my Family Dollar cashier or if my IT analyst, if my field desk technician, if my call center technician, which is everything that Terrence has been, if he's going to love me through that, I don't want no millionaire.
Yeah.
I think that's a powerful statement. I think who was meant for it gonna get it.
Yeah.
Who it ain't meant for, they ain't gonna get it.
Yeah.
It take them a little longer to get it. I tell them all the time, as long as you find you somebody like, and we're gonna get it to wrap up because these are the things I'll be like, oh my gosh, like y'all are never. Oh, is it a short than that one? I'll keep talking. It's still recording, so it's cool. Because we're about to wrap up anyway. But I say that to them all the time. Like, as long as you found somebody that was already just taking care of themselves as an adult already, like, what are you looking for?
Yeah. That's definitely true.
I was telling a young lady, she was talking the other day about a story about, different things about dating in the tax bracket, which I understand. I get it. There should be some type of way where hopefully, like, whether, you can't work or y'all get married or something to be able to take care of the family.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Some stuff is all wants. It's not needs.
Sure.
Yeah, you gotta have those hard conversations too. Because say if you do find somebody that has everything you're looking for, you have everything they're looking for. You didn't have a conversation with, like, say if one of y'all lose one of those assets.
Yeah.
What do you do? Because I saw stories where a gentleman was in California, beautiful family, making all this money, right? Wife wasn't working, lost his job. He can't handle it. He wants his kids to go through what he went through when he was a kid. So this guy committed suicide, killed his family, killed himself.
Yeah.
So some people can't handle that. So you have that conversation.
Got to. And you got to have a partner that's like, it's a thing sometimes, like, you got to say, hey, I know you want it, but we don't need that. It don't make sense for us to get it.
And he'll tell me that in a minute.
Yeah.
He'll tell me that in a heartbeat. He'll be like, babe, we can't do that right now. And I'm like, okay.
We had a conversation the other day. I gave her one of my credit cards just to do something. I don't actively look at what you buying because I don't care about the money. However, but I do know I got to pay it back.
Right.
So I was like, I don't mind what you do, but if you know you in the day when you just a swiping, let me know. That way I can go ahead and hit the balance before it gets to whatever it need to get to. And at first, I kind of thought like I was kind of fussing at her. I'm like, not fussing. I'm explaining something to you that makes sense. Yeah. One day you're going to realize that the way that I try to be financially responsible is going to be something you admire even more because I'm not just doing everything just because you want me to do it. Not because, number one, I never let nobody. I learned a long time ago I'm not going to let nobody spend the money I work for. I mean, it is what it is. You can get mad or whatever, but so when you can stand on business, as they say, like, you can usually be mad at me for a little while. When we get it, we get it. That's
he normally don't care if I'm mad at him. Normally, he'd be like, when she ready, she'll come.
Yeah.
I'll be like that too, only if I feel like I'm in the right. But if,
of course.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But like you can feel that you can cut that tension with a knife sometime in the house when both people mad at each other. Like I'll be the person like, man, I ain't trying to be mad until the next day, and she'll be like, I ain't ready to talk yet. We'll talk tomorrow. I'm like,
it's normally us.
Yeah. Usually, man, we will move forward with it.
Yeah, because I always get an example.
Because we got a PowerPoint presentation on how you made.
You said this,
yes,
you did that
exactly. And it's especially when I'm saying, well, this is why I did that. This is why I felt like that, and you just not listening. Well, you still did this. I'm like, okay. My example is always when Rafiki hit Simba and he said, what'd you hit me for? And he said, it doesn't matter. It's in the past. I'm like, it's in the past now. We can't change it. We can keep getting mad about it, but that's how I get over stuff. Like something I was like, I can't change it. I didn't react the way I wanted to, but at that moment I felt like this. And those are like real things you got to be honest, like being expressing with yourself. Like I don't always respond the way I need to. Sometimes you said something, I thought you said this and or you trying to say this to me, I'm trying to say, well, I'm pumping my chest out. You trying to say this, like it's a lot of stuff, and you just gotta, like you say, the mechanic, the ups and the downs, and just two people that want to work it. I tell people all the time, you just need two people that want to work it out together. That's what you need.
A lot of people want to give up and just quit as soon as they have that disagreement. They want to make it harder than what it needs to be. So yeah.
I agree. Well, guys, this has been another episode of the Textual Talk. Honestly, this talk could probably go on for 2 more hours, but we got to end it, man. It's getting late. We got to go eat. But I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Y'all know where to find me at Textual Talk, textualtalk.com, Textual Chatter on all socials. And even though y'all know who the recruiter cousin is, for the listeners, if you want to tell them how to follow you.
Sure. So you can follow me on IG at recruiter cousin. LinkedIn is my first name, Chenae, my last name, Erkerd. And then TikTok at recruiter cousin and YouTube at recruiter cousin consultant.
All right, do you have any social media, Terrence?
LinkedIn, find me on there. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have his LinkedIn. I have his LinkedIn in the description, and also leave us a comment if you think the Patriots is trash, because I think they big trash.
Y'all know
I
who the
agree.
champs are.
Big
6
trash.
times. Don't
The
forget
Philadelphia
it.
Eagles.
The GOAT.
Hey, exile 3 of them because they was really 4 of them because they was cheating. So really 2.
Philadelphia Eagles.
It's champs.
Deflate Gate, Spygate, the Tuck Rule. He the only person.
We just watched the documentary about the Tuck Rule,
it's
too.
Amazing.
It's definitely cheating.
The greatest dynasty of all time.
Tom get the most respect out of me for going to Tampa Bay and winning.
Oh, yes. Everybody said Tom can't win nowhere else, but he did.
I like that one. All the other ones when Belichick and them be cheating and letting air out the ball so it's easy to catch. Yeah, big trash.
Watch the documentary on Apple TV. Y'all see the dynasty.
But y'all see. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Until next time, let's stay textual and we out. Peace.